Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at a little bit of manual editing. So in this case, what we have is a farm sink that's drawn in. We use the line mode on our laser to accomplish drawing the 3 lines of the farm sink in place. One of the things you may want to do is open up your layer tool here, and then you can go ahead and turn off some of your layers that may be invasive or in your way. So you can expand the countertop here, and you'll notice that you have quite a few layers here. And let's see, by default, typically you can see the display here. So what I can do is I can turn off anything that I don't want to see. For example, maybe labels might be in my way, perhaps dimensions are in my way, anything like that. The cabinet line itself could be in the way. The points that I use to make it, or the corner points that are existing. So you can turn off anything that you don't want to see in order to make things easier on you. Again, this is completely optional, but it is right here. It is called the splitter, and you can toggle it on and off with this button there. So now that we have this, what we can do is we can experiment with some of our tools, like perhaps offsetting, or putting in a fillet, or trimming or extending. So we're going to take a look at some of those here. What we're going to do here first is we're going to create an offset that's going to bring the flush value of the sink that we've shot with our laser. And we're going to bring that in by, just for visibility's sake, we're going to do 1/4 of an inch. So what we're going to do here is hit the line parallel by distance, because this is a line, and we're going to make another one parallel by a distance. And then we'll do 0.25. We'll hit accept there. And then what we do is simply click on the line and choose its direction here. So you can see that the lines are a little thick here, so there is, I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. There is a gap there, it's 1/4 of an inch. Now what I can do, I can either leave the reference lines there if I want, I can escape out of the offset tool there, or I can select them like so, and I can delete them using this key or the actual delete key on my keyboard if you have one. And now I only have the overhang values that would be correct. So it's up to you how you want to do that. I prefer to get rid of mine when I work on this. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and do a little bit of trimming, or extending, or putting fillets. So we're going to take a look at some of these tools here and experiment with what they do, right? So the first one we're going to look at is the fillet trim here. So what it's going to do is you click on this and you set the value that you want. I'll go ahead and just put 1 inch, and then I'll accept that. I simply click or touch one of the lines, and then click or touch the other, and you can see that it closes together with a radius. Now, if I were to do this to the front, you'll notice that it is giving me a preview there, but it will cut off the rest of it there. That's not something that you want to do. There's a couple steps that we want to take before that. So we will undo that using our undo button. And then we can take a look at some of our other things here, like trim first, right? So trim first, what this will do is it will cut or extend something to a given length, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to this tool here. And then I'm going to click on the line that I wish to cut or extend. And then I'm going to click on the other object that I wish for it to cut or extend to. So I would extend it like so, and you can see it has moved forward without interfacing with the other line. It's only changing the first thing I click on. So click this, and click this. There we go. Now, just kind of going back a little bit, back before we had, one more, before we had our fillets in there. If I were using the trim first here, and I click just this one and this one, you notice it only does half of the equation there. So I would then have to go back and click this line and this line. So trim first could be used for everything, but it's only doing one thing at a time. So if you prefer to do it that way, by all means you can, but it is only just interfacing with the first thing. So let's undo those, and this will give us the opportunity to look at trim both. This functions exactly like the fillet did, but without a radial value. Simply click it, click one object and then the other, and it's going to close them both together or cut them if there was excess on there as well. So same issue you're going to have down here, where it will cut off the extra. So if I click this and then I click this side, it will connect these two and cut off all of this. But if I click this and this side, you'll notice it cuts the other section off. It will keep the part you click on. So trim both is great if you're just doing, easy closes like that, that totally works. Um, in one of the other functions, you'll see where we're drawing the countertop the other way. You'll use this guy here, the Smart Trim Both, a lot. What this will do is it will perform this Trim Both function, but you just simply need to put your mouse near the corner, and it gives you a representation of what's happening. You simply click, and then it does its job there. Now, again, same issue. It can jump to the incorrect corner. You see I was trying to trim these almost parallel objects here. Not working out too well, but this one right here, you can see it's going to cut the excess off as well. So in the front here, it would be a good example for me to use the trim first, extend that to the, helps to click on it, extend that to the front, like so. And then this will allow me to show you the next trim, which is trim divide. This one's really useful whenever you're doing things like cutting in a range or cutting in a farm sink like this. You simply click the trim divide here, and what you're going to do is you're going to click the part that's going to be removed. So this is going to be removed, this center part. And then it wants to know its boundaries, you know, here and here. There we go. And you see it has left everything else on the sides, but it's removed this. This would now allow me to put radiuses on everything if I wanted. I'll just go ahead and put 1 inch for visibility's sake. You can put whatever value you want there. There we go. There we are. So now you can see I have a farm sink that's cut in that has 1 inch radiuses on each side, and you're good to go.